I have seen quite some mixed opinions about the latest Zelda game, stating that the reviews are overblown and incorrect. Some players even went so far to bomb the user score on Metacritic, which at some point was down to a very low 5.0. It has since recovered, but this game seems to have ruffled some feathers with some players. I thought I'd share my own personal opinion of what I think of this game, and I really took my time to ensure that I had seen pretty much everything this game had to offer before posting my review, and my in-game timer is currently at 170 hours. The previous game, Breath of the Wild, was a fresh take on an established formula, in the sense that it provided you with the feeling of extreme freedom in a world that was waiting for you to be explored. At a glance, the game seemed almost overwhelming, like an old Elder Scrolls game, in the sense that the game is not giving you many directions and it trusts the player to find enjoyment out of the experience themselves. After playing the game for a few hours though, you start to realize that it's actually a lot more similar to the other Zelda games than you would expect, with the open world being fully designed around the abilities that you get, and the area is also designed to ensure that you play the game in the intended order. I'm just touching upon the fundamentals here, but at the core, this is what made Breath of the Wild so special and unique, as it's rare to have a game that is truly sandbox, and at the same time has very distinct gameplay rules, both working together in tandem. Fast forwarding 7 years, and we now have Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild that started its development cycle as a DLC for the old game all those years ago. As you already know, the game is very similar in how it looks, sounds, and plays. The general gameplay is very close to the past game, which isn't a bad thing at all. The animations look great, the controls feel good, and the combat is challenging but fair. Some music remains similar with the same type of sound, and the most common short jingles remain exactly the same. There is however new music also that is of very high quality, adding a very cinematic flair to a game opposed to the more experimental music from the first game. There are some dramatic improvements, such as the draw distance feeling extremely long due to placement of objects in the sky, and the cloud system itself looking absolutely incredible, only to be beaten off the likes of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Ace Combat 7. But there is one thing that sticks out in this game that, in my opinion, makes this game a complete triumph, and that is the building aspect, which is a brand new feature in this game. And what it succeeds with is that something that few other games does, which is making failing fun. You see, building things in video games is not uncommon. There is an endless amount of games that are about building something yourself. However, having it as part of the overarching goal, which is to rescue Princess Zelda, it makes it so much more worth spending time with. This system is also very tolerant of what you build, which means that building is not dedicated to snapping parts together at certain points, but rather it lets you play with it as you wish. This can lead to some incredibly funny and unexpected results, where the game presents a puzzle to you, and then it's up to you to find a way to solve it with the pieces that you have. This is really fun and iterative process where failing is just as much fun as winning. There are very few games that manage to make failing fun, and usually it's simply about learning a pattern and overcoming it. This is a really fun and iterative process where failing is just as much fun as winning. There are very few games that manages to make failing fun, as usually it's about simply learning some patterns and overcoming it. But here, there's true entertainment value in the failed results, and that in itself is something that deserves a gold star, and why I think this game has scored so high with most critics. Now, even with that, I can still understand how this game isn't for everybody, as you kinda have to be a person that can enjoy your own company and create fun with what is given to you, as this game has almost no handholding at all. This game can feel very lonely at times, and it's almost like going on a hike with yourself, in particular at the start before you start unlocking the companions. If you enjoy that and simply having yourself and your thoughts as company while you accomplish obstacles, then you will truly love this game. If not, well, then perhaps you need to find another game. The game is like the greatest hits of the last game, but with the new features acting as multiple new #1 hit singles. Now, is it the perfect game? No. If I'm going to nitpick, I would say there are some design issues, in particular with how the map works. As an example, certain icons that you place on the map don't show up on the minimap, and cave icons that show when you have cleared one are not uniform, because all caves can't be completed, which makes the future somewhat not usable at all. There's also balancing issues in terms of the items that you gain from treasures and side quests, which more often are trash, which makes the game feel like you're wasting your time. There's also combat mechanics that rely on specific timings, but given how chaotic the combat often is, it's very rarely usable. But don't let that distract you from this absolutely gorgeous and well-crafted piece of art that this game actually is. Everything that made Breath of the Wild such a good game is even better in Tears of the Kingdom. Besides the gameplay itself, there's also a massively improved story and the cutscenes in the game, with this being the most cinematic Zelda game ever. The cutscenes are many and often quite long, but never boring. It really adds an important flavor that was a bit on the light side in the previous game. Overall, I think this game is an absolute must-play, with something for everyone as long as you're okay with the game's non-handholding style of gameplay. I cannot give this game any other than a very strong 9. Almost hitting a 10, just almost. This is for sure one of the top 10 games I have ever had the pleasure to play. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're not convinced yet, I'm going to leave you now with some gameplay clips of some highlights that I got while I was playing the game. I hope you enjoy, and see you soon.
Ah. Huh? Ah!
Yeah. 오!
Monsters have appeared outside town. Shore up the defenses at the gate.
Link, I am waiting.
Huh?